use this to go back and forward, right?
Yes.
So there is some people missing yet, huh? Yes. Okay, back again. And now we call Mr. John Steinberger, FA. Not, it's not you. Giuseppe. Ah, yes, Giuseppe, sorry. Giuseppe 40, Politecnico di Milano.
Yes.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. Okay, so welcome everybody and thank you for being here. So today I'm going to talk about this NITROS initiative. That is a network for innovative training on rotorcraft safety and its potential to mitigate rotorcraft accident. So this presentation is really to inform you about this initiative, this network that is starting. I know it's not usual to see universities here presenting, but since we thought we have to do our part in trying to increase safety of rotorcraft, we decided to take this initiative, and we think there is room and opportunities to collaborate together in order to improve our safety records. Okay, so this is the outline of the presentation. I'm going to introduce NITROS and what are the Marie Sklodowska-Curie action for the European Union. Then I will briefly present the main scientific objective and the main research goals, an idea of what is the current partnership, and really a few words about the research projects, since we have 12 research projects on very different fields, so I will not have the time to discuss all the details of each one of those, but I hope I will raise your interest and maybe we can have a discussion later on with people interested on each subject, and then some conclusions. So first of all, what is NITROS? NITROS is really a training network, so is led by universities because we want to train a new generation of young engineers capable of developing innovative approaches in a cross and multidisciplinary research environment. So really what we think is important to increase safety is to give young researchers and young engineers the idea of how interconnected are the different disciplines in aerospace and specifically in rotorcraft design, where controls, computational fluid dynamics, modeling and simulation, the knowledge on human perception, cognition, and action are really tight all together. Okay? So the Marie Sklodowska-Curie action for the European Union is basically an action to train researchers to improve their skill, to join established research team, as we are, because they are going to be introduced in a network of companies and universities that are already collaborating on some of those subjects since many years ago. And of course, the main objective for the union is to enhance their career perspective. On our side, our main objective is to take into the project very skilled people in order to help us improving the safety records of the rotorcraft field. So how we decided to tackle safety of rotorcraft? I mean, rotorcraft is somehow a very small niche, but we think, given the vision 2050 goals of the European Union, that the business of rotorcraft will increase more and more. If the goal is to have 90% of the travelers within Europe that have to be able to complete their journey in 4 hours, we think rotorcraft will be essential to achieve this goal. So we will see more and more operations of rotorcraft in urban areas, more and more operation in all weather. All aspects that have been already touched by people talking before me. So I think this is really a an interesting subject to work, and there is really need to improve technology in order to achieve those goals, okay? So we will probably see also the rise in the future of more and more of those vertical takeoff personal vehicles. And so what is going to be the interaction between those new vehicles, maybe with less trained people flying them, with professional helicopters pilot and aerial working and all those things working together. So those numbers are numbers that have been already discussed today. We know that there is a goal of reduction of the number of accidents, but we are still short of reaching this goal. So there are still a lot of accidents, and we know that the trend is quite flat. This is for worldwide, this is for Europe, of course. And if we compare those numbers with what is coming from the commercial fixed-wing aircraft, we know that the comparison is really not good, let's say, for rotorcraft, okay? So if we have to use more and more rotorcraft for commercial applications, urban area transport, we need to increase the safety records. Of course, we need to keep into account the fact that this higher rate is partly related to the different mission demands, okay? Helicopters are performing more complex mission, close to obstacles, and so this is really one of the causes. But since we know this, we have to improve the interface between the whole helicopter, the automation, and the pilot in order to achieve those missions in a safe way. So what are the causes of this, in our opinion, of this increase of higher number of accidents? On one side, we know one cause is the complexity of piloting, okay? Piloting a rotorcraft is generally more complex than piloting fixed-wing aircraft, and so there is a higher workload on the pilot. We know that there is complexity of the mission, okay, and this is also operating close to obstacles in IMC, windy turbulent condition, is again increasing the workload for the pilots. There is a complexity in maintenance, of course, because there are numerous and different mission critical components for a helicopter, and with different maintenance period, and so on and so forth. And of course, there is complexity of design. So since we look from the point of view of designers and of engineers, we think that we need to teach people how to reduce the complexity at the design stage, okay? So we thought we really need to tackle this subject, so complexity of design, since this could be the mission for a university, more than working on complexity of piloting, of mission, of maintenance, which are already, let's say, well addressed by bodies like the International Safety Team and those kind of things. Of course, if we are able to reduce the complexity of design, we will have a fallout, on all those elements, because a simpler design will mean a simpler machine to be handled, simpler maintenance, and hopefully a machine that is able to deal with complex mission with a low workload. That's our goal, let's say. So in order to reach this goal, we will do, of course, a right training for the students, training for multidisciplinarity, training for safety, but we will develop also technological improvement in order to obtain a quantification of the increase of safety that we will deliver at the end of the program. And of course, our wish is to create a network of excellence between universities and companies in order, again, to improve safety, okay? So we made an analysis altogether, and we identified what are, in our opinion, three main threats that have to be tackled by NITROS. So we identified, of course, the vehicles. So we need to improve the models of the vehicle and the vehicle itself. The pilot is a crucial element, and the environment. So those three elements are working together, and so we decided to set up a research program that is somehow looking at all those aspects together at the same time. So the first research objective is really to develop a nice modeling framework for rotorcraft, multidisciplinary, able to integrate rigid body, aeroelasticity, structural design, system failure all together, okay, in a real multidisciplinary environment. The second research objective is really to work on the pilot side, so to understand how humans can safely and efficiently interact and be interfaced with a helicopter, okay? And the third research objective is really to enhance the understanding of the environment, of the complex environment where the helicopter is flying. So flight close to obstacles, interaction of wakes, brownout, whiteout, wake encounters, and all those problems. Okay? So what is the partnership of the program? So first of all, we have 4 universities in Europe. We have Politecnico di Milano that is leading the initiative. Then we have 2 universities in UK, University of Glasgow and University of Liverpool, and TU Delft in the Netherlands. Then we have a manufacturer of helicopter that is Leonardo. We have 2 well-renewed research centers, NLR working in aviation, and the Max Planck Institute of Cybernetics really working on human-machine interface that we think is a crucial aspect here. We have authorities, we have CAA on board, and we have Eurocontrol, and also operators. Bristow is working with us, and also Renewable UK, that is a network of companies working in the energy sector, and they're interested in the interaction of helicopter with wind farms. So it says something about in German. Sorry. Okay. So those are the research projects. Of course, we have a limited effort, so we decided to tackle 12 programs. So I will give you just the ideas. The first one is on simulation and prevention of ice formation and ice shedding. The second one is related to health monitoring for rotorcraft structure. The third one is related to innovative design of tilt rotors cockpit, so new machines that are coming on the market. Interaction of the helicopter with immersed in obstacle turbulence, rotorcraft wave modeling, development of a phase aggression criteria for adverse rotorcraft pilot coupling detection, mitigation of airwake hazard, modeling of brownout and whiteout, enhanced helicopter engine qualities through vibration load exploration, revealing adverse rotorcraft pilot coupling induced by flight control system, understanding the use of automation in helicopter, and alleviating flight simulator negative transference for helicopter operations. So you see there are several subjects, some that are more related to vehicle, some that are more related on the pilot interaction, and some that are more related in the environment, but all of them will be tackled by looking at all 3 aspects at the same time. So just to give you an idea, for instance, this is what we're going to do to better understand the interaction of the helicopter with wake modeling. So we have 3 projects that are basically working on this subject from different points of view, and we have 3 elements that will cooperate in order to better understand what is going on when you fly close to an obstacle. On one side, there is going to be a lot of activity in the wind tunnel. At Politecnico di Milano, we have a very large wind tunnel with a room with 14 by 4 meters. So we can perform wind tunnel tests with obstacles and the helicopter flying close to the obstacle, so to really see the interaction. And the idea is to perform some real-time identification of the flow in the wind tunnel and to transmit the information directly into a flight simulator, so to do a co-simulation between the wind tunnel, a realistic, let's say, wake environment created in the wind tunnel, and the flight simulator. On the other side, we will have people working on CFD. You know, with CFD, you can get a lot of information, but it's still very expensive in terms of time, in terms of computational resources. By coupling CFD with wind tunnel, we will learn a lot about the physics that is behind this phenomenon. And we can even work together to develop real-time, again, models extracted from CFD that can be used to improve the quality of models of wakes used in flight simulation. And of course, we will have people dealing specifically in Liverpool on flight simulation or of flight close to obstacle, complex obstacles. So you see 3 different ways and 3 different approaches coming from different universities with a different background, working together for the same goal. So what are the goals we want to reach? So increase, of course, the basic knowledge of the flow field close to obstacle, improve flight simulation training by getting more and more refined quality models, increase the possibility to perform reduced cost qualification tests. Whenever you have to fly and to do qualification tests for a flight close to obstacles or close to a moving ship, it's always very expensive. So if we can reduce the cost by running wind tunnel simulation, this will allow to do more qualification testing and so more into the safety side, let's say. Reduce the risk of qualification tests and also help to develop robust flight control system able to deal with this. Similar things we are going to do on flight mechanics of, on brownout and icing simulation. So on one side, we will develop models to improve the quality of simulation of those very complex physical situations. But we will, again, interact with people working on flight simulation in order to improve the models, of flight simulators model, to take into account the effect of brownout and whiteout, to take into account the effect of icing and what is going to be the degradation of performances on the helicopter in the flight simulator, and so to help pilots to deal with this situation. And at the same time, we will also try to improve the design. So is it possible to design a blade that reduces icing or brownout? This is one of the answers we want to find. Is it possible to perform reduced cost virtual qualification tests also for those conditions, again, to increase the number of qualification tests that can be performed and to reduce the risk of qualification tests? Understanding the use of automation in helicopters. This is an important aspect. I heard somebody already talking about increase of automation in flight. So how the answer we are looking at is how much automation we need. Because we know sometimes that if the automation is too much, probably this is not helping the pilot, because in the end he gets a lot of information, and when the automation is not working, he's not trained to deal with the aircraft. So how much automation is really helping the pilot, and what is the level to not overcome, okay, not cross? So this is one of the answers we will seek during the project. And also we will work on specifically on training. More and more training is done on flight simulators, but how good is this training? So how good the models in the flight simulator have to be in order to be effective, the training. Again, this is an important aspect, we think, for safety that will be tackled by one of the projects. So in conclusion, I just give you an overview. I hope I raised the interest of some of you. The project just started. We selected the 12 persons, young researchers that are going to start. Actually, they started in November, so right now. There is a website where you can get all the information. We have also a Twitter account. So whenever, if you think there is an interest on your side that you want to collaborate with this network, we will be happy to hear your voice, to get your point of view, and eventually your help in the development of those projects. So let me acknowledge, of course, the financial help of the European Union under the Horizon 2020 Research and Innovation Program. And here is a list of the leading people at the 4 universities, myself at Politecnico di Milano, Marilena Pavel at TU Delft, George Barakos at University of Glasgow, and Mark White at University of Liverpool. So if you're interested, please contact us, and we will be happy to collaborate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Giuseppe. Very interesting. I think now we have to think about how can we help this initiative, because it is probably a very positive one. Thank you very much. Now, European, I call Michel, Tim, Bern, all together to talk about European Safety Promotion Network for Rotorcraft. Can you imagine 3 speakers, so important aspect? We are sure you will convince the audience. Thank you very much.
How do I go up?
Just right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tim Fauchon. I'm the acting chair or chair of the Rotorcraft Committee, was the Rotorcraft Sectorial Committee. On my left, I will leave Michel.
Michel Masson-Yaza, I'm coordinator of the ESPN-R.
My name is Bernd Oswald. I'm from Airbus Helicopters and working in the aviation safety team.
We're here to talk to you about the European Safety Promotion Network, Rotorcraft, was known as EHEST at one stage. You'll notice the logo later on. It is almost the EST logo, slightly changed. Start with the history. The Rotorcraft Committee used to be the Rotorcraft Sectorial Committee, established in January 2017. It is a committee of the SAB, the Stakeholders Advisory Board. If we use a TLA or an FLA you do not understand, please stop us and ask us. What's a TLA? Why didn't you ask me? A TLA is a 3-letter abbreviation. An FLA, have a guess. It's not 3, so it's wrong, isn't it? A 4-letter abbreviation, okay? This morning I sat in some of those presentations and just thought, I was trying to work out what the first one meant before we moved on to the 5th one. Anyway, Committee of the SAB, we're established, we're legal. Stakeholders Advisory Board. Legal assistant, wide remit, members, a management board decision in 2015. We're there to revise safety analysis, impact assessment, programming. I'm not going to insult you. Important there, safety promotion. That's where we're coming from. Governance, myself, supposedly we have 2 vice chairs. I've just been told by EASA we're not allowed to have 2 vice chairs. So Peter is going to be the vice chair. And we have the same secretary as was this morning. Is the other way around? Gilles, I do apologise, I'm not sacking you, from Airbus. Everyone know what the EPAS is, the European Plan for Aviation Safety? It basically tells you, if you read it, whether it's going to be a rule-making task to sort the problem out. It's going to be safety promotion, again, that's what we're interested in here, focused oversight or research, produced every year, covering the next 5 years. I do recommend you read it, because the EASA have a habit of changing it, and they won't tell you whether you've changed it. So you need to get up the previous years and put them side by side and see what they've changed, because suddenly the subject you're interested in disappears out of that book, and it's no longer funded.
Tim, it's not disappeared, it's improved.
No, I do disagree. Evidence-based training for the offshore world disappeared overnight to a safety promotion task. No, who was consulted? ARCOM established the ESPN-R. In other words, they work to me. I'm ex-military man. I want to know the wiring diagram. I want to know who's working to who and who I answer to. The ARCOM established the ESPN-R, gives them somewhere to work to, ask when they have a deconfliction. More importantly, also in a wiring diagram, who is going to pay? Think about that one. We're building on the EHES competencies. Why? You'll see in the minute. Develop dissemination, safety promotion materials. Coordinators, Michel is the main EASA one. We have Bernd from Airbus. We have one who's in South America at the moment for the onshore world. You can make a name for yourself if you're in the offshore world. We need a coordinator. We have been struggling for the last 6 months. Heli Offshore have not come up with anyone yet. So if you want to make a name for yourself, please volunteer. And this is my last slide. We're building on eHEST. You can join a LinkedIn program. Look at it. We've got over 1,500 people registered. You can get a message out there. And you'll see down the bottom left, this is the sort of thing you get every week. Someone draws your attention to something that you may have an interest in. Andy will contribute if he spots something not good on the net, and he will bring it to the group's attention. Very easy to do. It's just another bit. You can very quickly press delete if you need to, if you don't think it interests you. I now hand over to Bernd.
So next slide. It's all about cooperation. So this is the key message. We are cooperating with all the helicopter safety teams. In that case, we have the website of IHST. So you can find a lot of things on this website, especially safety bulletins or videos. And this is my first request, because we learned there are so many pilots and operators in here. Maybe you find out something about what is stored in there and integrate some videos or some safety bulletins in your briefings or in your trainings. So just have a check. It is worth it, I guess. So you can as well find all the safety teams around the world, US HST, IHST, ESPN-R, or the EASA safety team. So another request on this one is there is a call for doing a survey. Again, a request to the operators to fill in that survey, because this will bring you, and especially the teams, some key knowledge about what to focus on in the future. So please do it. It's worth it. It's for you, basically. This one is more or less some of the tasks we were more or less been given by EPAS. This is about organizing a safety workshop. Basically, this was the last one on Helitech on October the 5th. And it started with some safety presentations, safety promotions. And then the second part of it was a panel discussion, which I personally found very interesting and very thriving for safety promotion because it was a real practical thing. Doing some panel discussions on accident examples, having AIB reporting the case, and then discussing the cases on what can be done or improved in future, just to learn out of these accidents, which is very good. One thing which was a little bit astonishing is that there was low attendance from the visitors of the fair. So this is a plea as well. If you're at Helitech or on the shows, please visit the safety workshops. It's again worth it. So we talked about what is in the plan of EPAS. There is, of course, some modernity in it. We try to get hold of more mobile applications. It's just to get a better outreach to our, let's say, clientele, which is the pilots and the one using the aircraft. And then, of course, and this is more or less the bracket we are doing to let's say, the presentations we heard earlier from Heinz and from Isabel. We want to promote the new techniques, the new technologies about point-in-space navigation, low-level IFR, everything around performance-based navigation. And the fourth bullet, it's as well on our side, on the OEM side, that means Airbus Helicopters, Leonardo, we need to promote these technologies inside our companies as well. So to push EASA, to push ourselves. And last but not least, the third one, we want to review all the helicopter safety and risk management bullets just to check for consistency, to see whether we are up to date. So this is a task we need to work on. The last slide from myself. This is basically as well a project we did, again in cooperation with IHST. So IHST was funding a voiceover project for two different videos. The one was about decision making. There are three pilots having the same context. They are going on a flight, but with different and challenging environments. So they have to make their decisions. Very interesting. So you are invited to see this. And the other one is about degraded visual environment. Again, very challenging environmental conditions and pilots, how to make decisions and what to avoid, or even abandon a flight or not starting a flight. So the project was about doing the voiceover in different languages. So if you are not capable of English, then you are invited to have all the other languages. There are 8, and one should be fitting to your purpose. So now I hand over to Michel.
Thank you very much. Do you operate the slide? Is the green one? No. The right. Yes, I'll take the opportunity to publicize, inform you that the last 3 EHS deliverables were published recently on the new website. And we're lucky to have one of the co-authors, John Swan, here in the audience. Thanks, John, again, and others for your contribution. They address helicopter performance, weather threat, and helicopter flight instructor guide in V2. By the way, I'd like to use the opportunity to remind that these subjects were not selected randomly. They are based on the analysis of more than 500 accidents that the old EHS performed between 2005 and 2015, actually, identifying all the top factors of accident and addressing them systematically through safety promotion material, leaflet, videos, bulletins, workshops, etc. Special mention about the helicopter flight instructor guide. This is one of the top 3 guides of this type available worldwide, and it's the only one that is fully consistent with the EASA syllabus. It's an immense piece of work. It's close to 200 pages. It is freely available for training schools to use. Please pass the word. Go visit the website and download and use it freely. Also wish to mention that ES was closed in October 2016, now resurrected under a new name. The old website was closed and all the deliverables were transferred to a new EASA safety promotion website. Safety promotion at EASA. is actually supported by a second network called the SPN. This is the Safety Promotion Network of the member states. It's a generalist network. The missions are to contribute, develop safety promotion material, disseminate, evaluate, and together launch safety promotion campaigns in Europe. So bringing an added value for subjects that are already addressed nationally. Yes, interestingly, the ARCOM is an industry body. The ESPN-R that was established by the ARCOM is a mixed team, it's a partnership. So we have industry, we have EASA, and we have authorities. And I wish to report about another action that is locked in the EPAS. It's on the NIAs, and it's about organizing helicopter safety events locally. That, by the way, was a suggestion formulated by ES a few years ago, and you have the maps here of all the countries engaged in organizing such workshops on topics like just culture, safety culture, reporting, about safety management, risk assessment, risk management, performance-based regulation. Often part of the workshop is dedicated to introducing and discussing new regulations with the community. And then the second part is about a selected safety topic for the year. So we believe it's very important to engage with the community. And this is a continuous action in the EPAS, which means that it will normally last forever. I also wish to draw your attention on this interesting video clip that was recently published by Eurocontrol and the Flight Safety Foundation European Advisory Committee. It was co-developed by Mr. Obiama, Di Wantington, AD Evans, made a presentation this morning on maintenance human factors, and André Vernet from the French DGAC. It was not developed by the ESPN-R, but it was developed in Europe by people we know. We're all part of a big family. This is dedicated to the prevention of somatographic illusions that can play an important role in loss of control accident on approach and departure, and especially in offshore operations. So again, it's free for you to use, and it's available on a Skybrary website under the SkyClip folder. And I wish to finish the presentation with a few useful links. Otherwise, just Google. This is what I do, including to find EASA material. It's quicker, it's faster, it's good. And it works. Well, apologies to my website colleagues. You know I don't do that, of course. Okay, thank you for your attention, and we would welcome questions.
Thank you very much. Please have a seat. And now, the last session of the day. Please, Mr. Abad. Eka, nice to meet you. So, we will talk about EBN. Yes. Let's go.
Well, I hope the EBT thing is not cancelled, because if it's so, we're finished the afternoon. So, yeah, that's right. It was supposed to be cancelled from the APAS, but the strong reaction that we have from operators, from any stakeholders, from pilot associations make that EASA reconsider the issue, and we're back on business again. Sorry, team, for that. So, and I would like to, first of all, I would like to thank, I'm very honored to represent pilots across Europe in the rulemaking task in EBT, which I'm very honored. So I would like to express and to share with you guys and ladies the fears and hopes that we have while working on the EBT, because we all know what EBT means, isn't it? Yes, of course, okay. So this is no need to tell that evidence, what evidence means. What evidence means? Data, that's correct. It means data from the SMS, from the safety reports, from flight data monitoring, recording systems and from the training. So we have a lot of data. But the other thing that it look at is the operational risk of each operator, of each mission, of each aircraft. This morning we heard that the same operator or different operators with the same mission, they have to face different operational risk from one to another. And with those risks, what we have to do is to develop the competencies of our crews rather than measure them in a specific maneuver. So we can provide our crews on a tailored training programs from fleet to fleet, from operator to operator with the flexibility that EASA is willing to give us. So this is a pretty good thing. And when we said evidence, as he was saying, we look at a huge amount of information. The blue ones is already existing materials. The ones, for example, with the ASAT, remember, Michelle, when we started with the ASAT team, then we moved out to the ASEAT and blah, blah, blah. And ACAS, well, you name it, a lot of studies done so far. And we have decided to create some new documents and some studies like the pilot survey that we are right now, Erika, about 350 surveys already completed from pilots all across Europe. And then the new, what we call training I have to say this slowly, training criticability study, which is going to be focused on instructors, on training organizations. And then probably one of the biggest projects, and is led by ECA, is the EBT Accident Study that we used. This is what it looked like. We used the same methodology that IATA reported, that the fixed-wing guys did, but we have to adapt the definition from the 40 factors in order to fit the specific needs for helicopters. And we have analyzed at 165, the first package of that, with volunteer pilots, that they are TRI instructors, the human factor experts, accident investigators, and they run it independently. And now we're having the first findings that you can see here. Very small one. It's called CRM. 90%, even more of that accident analyzed is CRM coming up, as well as the non-technical competencies that we will look at it. So you all know probably what a competency is as well. It is defined as the knowledge and skills and attitudes that we have in order to perform a task to a prescribed standard. So you will agree with me that we've been training crews in knowledge and skills for many years from now. With the current model that we have in EASA, we only perform this type of training. What about the A? What about the attitudes? What we call the human factors. Of course, we run a CRM refreshment course every year to our crews, but we're not pairing that and we're not merging that really into the operational side. We don't assess those guys in CRM skills and competencies, so we have to do that. And how we do it? You've probably seen this slide. Well, I'd adapted my beautiful Sikorsky 76. When we're flying in cruise, well, we use pilots. Which competencies we use? Probably application of procedures, some checklists, cruise checklists, please. Okay, flight path automatic, situational awareness, and within the ICAO and EASA model, we have all these competencies a little bit slid. We don't use it. Well, probably a little bit of communication, flight path manual, knowledge, workload management, pilot problem solving and decision making, and leadership and teamwork. Okay, we use these ones. And now we have the unexpected event. Have you seen this duck and the slides that coming at what we call the black swan event? So we have here something unexpected in our flight, a caution light, an engine failure, whatever, you name it, and all our world will become chaos. We start losing the flight path, the control of the aircraft. We need to know what is happening. So now all these competencies that are sleeping here, now we use it, we're trying to use it, and we put it in place in order to get back to normal. But the people, the persons, well, the doctor was says, well, we are resilient, but we are quite resistant to trying to detect what is happening, to organize our ideas, to manage our stress and everything. So we have to recover and to adapt to get into the normal flight. And that's what we call the resilience. Okay? So this is pretty much what we're trying to do. We're trying to train all these competencies here in order to build more resilient people. We are we have a very skillful crews, but are they competent enough? For us, from ECA, one of the biggest issues is, well, how many TRIs are in the room, please? Instructors? Well, are you guys important into the outcome of the operations? Of course, a very well-trained TRI, a very well-trained instructor will make a very well-trained crew member. So it is important for us that those initial people who start running this model are going to be selected. And they have to be thoroughly trained in order to be as well competent. They have to be competent crews, and they have to be as well competent instructors. They have to know what a competency is, how they train it, and how to assess that. So we have to use different techniques. We have to use facilitation. We have to use another type of mindset. And this is going to be very hard to do it right. So please, I encourage you guys to make an investment. It's not costly. It has to be an investment with the crews, with the instructors. And now, the beast. Probably, please raise your hands, the persons who thinks that it is impossible or very difficult to assess behaviors. Do you consider it's easy? It's easy to... So everyone agree that we can assess behaviors easily or not? It's difficult. No. So do you believe it's a subjective issue? Come on, wake up, please. Yes. So what we have to measure is the impact in safety. And what we have to do it into a scientific approach, which is the Venn methodology. You probably know that it's a mathematical model that has been used for many years now. And all those ratings has to be very consistent, and of course we have to train very well to do this assessment. And in the future we have to rely on and check all the assessments if it's done properly or not. So how we do it? If you know about the Venn models, what we have to look at is how many behaviors we observe in a training mission, how often I see it, how well they are, and then to look at the impact in safety. And probably if you see the next one, this is what we came up in our company, this table. And once you go through this and explain this to the instructors, I assure you 100% of the people get it. Seriously, I can prove it. And they nail it if you go through this, because it's a very well approach in terms of, okay, how many behaviors indicator I see it? Well, you can put a number here, 20%, 10%, 80%, whatever. In what frequency is that obtained? Is that seen? How well they are, and what about the safety? When you put the pie with the TRI, when you put it that way, the people get it easily. What's PR? Behavior indicators. Yeah, okay. Every competency in the ICAO Doc 9995, you can find those behaviors indicator of each competency. We don't have time to get through that deeply, so excuse me for that. You can find all that information related in the ICAO 9905 and in the concept paper in the RMT published. So as a conclusions, I put it straightforward because all our hopes could be fears as well. Of course, we need a company support we know that we have to change the way we train crews. I mean, the training programs was designed 25 years ago. So we need a change in training because our crews, our topics, our equipments, our missions are different from the ones we flew in 25 years ago. So, and we, based on evidence, we can assure that the knowledge, skill, and attitudes probably is one of the ways forward. Then, how it's going to be implemented? Probably tomorrow, Eric Bennett from EASA will explain about the implementation thing and in a voluntary basis and all that. And of course, we think that a thorough training must be required. And for us, the assessment is one of the key points in the success of this model. But the end of the pressure of what we pretend is to make safer operations worldwide. And I would like to finish my presentation with the acknowledgement of my colleagues, is voluntary pilots, all TRIs, as I told you, Captain Álvaro Espejo, Javier Olavide, Lieutenant Colonel Francisco Javier Mendy, and JJ Abad, which is not my cousin and my relative. I'm much more handsome than him, as you can see. And I would like to thank them for the super work they've done, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Enhanced-based training, everybody understand it will be the future of training. And also tailored training. But time ago we were talking about also the different other trainings, but probably you are in favor of this kind of training to be close to what the people needs really, and not to continue to work on the training existing from, you say, 25 years. It was at that time a good work from the GE people, but now we need probably to go forward, yes, for sure. So please, do you have any questions? Because now we have plenty of those gentlemen waiting for you. Feel free, please, go ahead. We have to.
Perfect. Great. Hello, question for the ESPN-R. What's your experience with social networks? I know you're on LinkedIn, but what about other, like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, so on and so on?
For a personal side, unless you're doing it, you're not going to capture the young audience. If you're not on social media, you're not going to capture them. And it's to get the message out, you need to be getting the pilots young, and that's where they go to look at stuff. The picking up a magazine is beyond most of my nieces and nephews, but you put it on their mobile phone and they'll get the message.
Yes, indeed. And our main facilitator, Andy Evans, gave a presentation this morning. He's probably in the other room. Are you here, Andy? Oh, he's not. Well, we've chosen a LinkedIn platform, basically because it's a nice way to engage the community, and everybody can open a discussion, raise a question, post an information. It's not a directed platform, it's a community-owned platform, and it works well, and we use it for basically any sort of subject. Personally, I use it also as a promotion channel for when we have new publications or we announce new workshops or things like that. But really, you can use it also. If you have technical question, business-related question, any type of question, the advantage is that anybody from the community can answer and contribute. So it's nice. You might have noted also in the ESPN-R work program that has been qualified in the EPAS, so now it's official. It's really what we have to do. It's the music score for us. That we want progressively to move from paper to supports and applications. For instance, the project is to take all the manuals we have, all the leaflets we have produced over the last 10, 11 years. There are plenty of important and safety relevant messages there, but as Tim mentioned, we're not sure that the young generations will never read a 50 or 20 page or worse, a 200 page document. So the idea is to take these golden nuggets and pass them in different ways so that they are used, that they reach the target audience and they're used.
No more questions?
So good. Great.
Are you sure?
Someone asked me how you
One.
found you. Come on.
2. So everything is clear. So thank you very much, gentlemen. Now, before leaving the room, so for tomorrow, we will have the same room for the ops part, the other one for the worthiness, of course, 9 o'clock. This evening, we will have a reception all together. We are waiting for you, of course, here, just to have a drink, 1 beer, maybe more. And I just want also to introduce my young colleagues because I missed to talk to you about my colleagues here. Please, Anne, present yourself,
I
please.
thought you wanted to present me.
Explain what you do here at EASA.
So, hello everyone. My name is Arne Macharowicz. I joined EASA this year in April as part of an initiative called the Junior Qualification Program. It's an EASA initiative in order to get young graduates and introduce them to the world of aviation safety. So basically it is a 2-year program during which the trainees rotate through the different sections of the agency in order to learn about the different aspects of the job. And we are 11 young graduates from, I think, 9 different countries, and yes, and I'm happy to be here and learn from you experts and very experienced people, and I hope I can contribute a little bit, and yes, that's from my side.
Yes, as you can imagine, you have a fresh mind there. And just to be honest, they have been selected more or less as a cosmonaut. So many difficult approach, but they are very, very, very talented people, all of them. So we are very happy to have on board from few months. So just to let you know what we did at EASA also, not only a view, I would say, very whole crocodiles, but we have also very young and talented people. Thank you very much. See you later during the get-together. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Michel.
Thanks, team. Thanks all.
Thank you for stitching it together, mate.
Yeah, well.
Nice for this refreshing speech always.